Peace. What's the word? What's happening, everybody? Hopefully, everybody is having a positive, peaceful, and productive Monday. Once again, we still snowed in over here in the St. Louis area, so I just want to tap in, give y'all some inspiration for the day. I'm in one of those moods on this wonderful Monday, man, but I'm going to give y'all about 5 minutes to tap in with the kid. Let me know how y'all living and feeling. We back at it. I told y'all I'm about to get back to doing this content consistently. Last year was an off year, man, but no more of that going on. We changing up the game, man. We about to get more consistent with the content. We out here. Serpent Peace, what's happening with you, my good brother? What's the word? How we living, how we feeling on this wonderful Monday? Like I say, we still snowed in over here in the St. Louis area, but it's all good. Can't complain. Can't complain. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to be productive with the time. LA Peace, what's happening? What's the word? How we living, how we feeling? TZ, what's happening with you, my good brother? What's the word? Serpent, man, everything is good, man. Everything is everything, man. We can't complain. Everything is good, man. How y'all living? Like I say, hopefully y'all staying positive, peaceful, productive, healthy, all that good stuff. MC, what's happening? What's happening? Shakir, peace, what's happening? Flox in, peace, what's happening? What's the word? You say you're going to the beach today to practice the piano. Hey, there you go. Productivity. Get it going. Get it going, man. I'm about to inspire y'all to take some action today. I'm inspiring y'all to take action. The craziest idea that you have, the craziest ideas that you possess probably will be your best ideas. And those are the ideas that you are procrastinating on. Those are the ideas that you need to take action on the soonest. Craziest idea. The craziest thing you've ever thought of to do, I promise you that will probably be your game-changing idea. Game-changing idea, I promise you. But we let society get into our minds in regards to us pursuing these crazy ideas. And we strive to go with the more rational, logical approach. Well, sometimes in life, you have to be irrational, especially when it comes to succeeding. When you think about it, man, historically, all of the products, all of the things that we have these days, at one point in time, they didn't exist and they had to be invented. That invention first started in the mind. It started as a thought, you know, and the person that thought about it or thought of the invention, a lot of people looked at them as they were crazy. You know, before we had a computer, somebody had to sit down and think, hey, I'm about to create something called a computer, or I'm going to create something that resembles this computer, and that's what I'm going to call it. And the person that they presented the idea to probably looked at them like, man, that ain't going to work. That's not a solid idea. But that person didn't buy into that negativity, that doubt, and that concern. They followed through with it. Next thing you know, whole world depending on these products. So every major idea, every major invention you can think of, at one point it didn't exist. And at one point, the world didn't even know they had a need for it or a desire for it. You know, so again, when you have an idea that seems crazy, when you have an idea that seems like ain't nobody gonna rock with this, that might be the idea that you need to entertain. When you got an idea that you present to the people around you and they just consistently doubt it, that might be the idea right there. That might be the thing you need to put into motion. Something that the people cannot fathom. Those are the ideas. Those are the inventions that change the game. So you got to think along those lines. What's something that's game changing? Obviously, if everybody is already doing it, if this is a product that's common or it's an idea or thought that's common, it's not game changing. You know, you got to have an uncommon idea, an uncommon thought. That's what is a game changer. That's what we will label as a game-changing idea, game-changing thought, game-changing invention, not something that everybody else is thinking and doing. Hey, Tony, peace, what's happening? Lindell, LG, what's happening? Oh, man, hey, MC, man, I got to tap in on my breaks and all that for sure. I got to do some work on my joint. Hey, little LA, we ain't mad at that. We ain't mad at that. But, man, go back into your mind and think of the craziest idea that you may have had. Think about the reason that you did not pursue it. More than likely, it was that pressure, it was that influence from the outside world. That was the idea. Don't sleep on those crazy ideas, man. Again, sometimes the most rational and logical approach is to be irrational, to be illogical, especially when it comes to like inventions, business ideas and things like that, man. It's a book called Blue Ocean Strategy, and it lets you know to really succeed in business, man, you got to create that blue ocean. The red ocean is the ocean with a lot of competition. The red ocean consists of businesses that are common. The blue ocean is you carving out your own lane. The blue ocean is you finding untapped in, areas and lanes, and you mastering that. That's what a blue ocean is. Finding that area that has not been tapped into, finding that lane that has not been tapped into, and that's the lane you choose. That's the lane you choose to drive in. That's what a blue ocean is. The red ocean is where all the competition is at. All the common ideas, all the common inventions, the common businesses. Like, nah, you don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in that ocean. You want to be in that blue ocean. You want to be in that area where nobody is tapped in. That is when you will succeed. That is when you elevate and reach that high level that you're striving to reach. Hey, Terenzo, what's happening? Tony Peace, what's happening? What's the word? Oh, yeah, Tony, for sure. And part of us rising and elevating, especially in this capitalistic society, revolves around us putting things into motion so we can generate wealth. So that's why I'm always striving to get my brothers to put certain things into motion so we can generate that wealth, and that will allow us to establish some sort of freedom over our time. So we won't be held down by the oppressor, having to clock in for their jobs and depend on their jobs and whatnot to feed our families, to feed ourselves. So the more things we can put into motion, utilizing our powerful minds, the better off we will be as far as the generation of wealth is concerned, But we got to stop procrastinating. We got to stop sleeping on these ideas that we possess. We cannot allow society to dull our minds. We got to pursue these ideas, man. I know a lot of you all have great ideas that y'all are sitting on right now that y'all have not put into motion, and you have made every excuse in the book in regards to why you haven't put it in motion. Stop doing that. Stop doing it. I don't want to hear anything about a lack of time. I don't want to hear anything about lack of energy. None of that. Like, you got a great idea, put it into motion. Nothing is stopping you from putting it into motion other than you. That's it. You are in your own way. CC, what's happening? And I don't care how crazy the idea may sound. I don't care how unrealistic it may sound. Like, those are the best visions to have, man. The most unrealistic thing you can think of, I promise you. That's the idea that you need to write down on that piece of paper and come up with a plan of action to put it into motion. Promise you. I promise you. The craziest thing you could think of. Again, like I say, man, at one point, this smartphone that all of us live and die by, at one point, and I remember the time vividly, at one point, this was not a thing. And somebody sat down and say, you know what, we're going to create something and we're going to have everything on this phone, on the phone. And the person that they presented it to was looking at them like, man, that will never fly. That will never go. And now fast forward, 2025, we all have a smartphone and we all feel like we need a smartphone, when in reality, we do not. So again, before this became a thing, it was a thought, and that thought, or the person that possessed the thought, was deemed as crazy. We can name all of these products that we have, things like Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Like, at first, people was like, man, that ain't gonna never amount to what it has become. But you got to keep it going, man. Got to keep it going. We cannot continue to allow these folks to have all this wealth, utilizing their ideas and their thoughts, and we sitting back afraid to put our things into motion, put our thoughts into motion, and manifest them into a physical reality. We letting all these other cultures capitalize on their ideas and thoughts, and we afraid to do it. I'm telling you, we come up with every excuse in the book not to put something into motion. I ain't got the money. I ain't got the time. I ain't got the this and that. Got to stop doing that. All these other cultures put things into motion. We got to start doing that, man. Again, a lot of times they jock our ideas because we afraid to put it into motion. we'll put it out in the atmosphere. Somebody else steals it. And now we walking around talking about how much they steal our stuff. No, let's, again, stop putting it out into the atmosphere until you're ready to put it into motion and capitalize off of it. Straight up. We the original people of the planet Earth, fathers and mothers of civilization. Everything should flow through us. Everything should flow through us first. Man, we got to stop allowing everybody to eat off our ideas and our thoughts and our energy. We should be the first ones benefiting from all of this, man. But that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. We allow everybody else to capitalize off of our ideas and our thoughts and our energy. Everybody but us. That has to change, man. Hey, Denise Peace, what's happening? Tony, for sure. And that's part of educating ourselves, man. We be lacking the education when it comes to the business side of things, you know? So even when we do have the idea, man, we lack the business acumen, you know, and that's another thing. That's part of doing the knowledge. You know, we got to do the knowledge, man. You get the idea. Now you got to study. You got to educate yourself in regard to what it takes to put that into motion legally. You know, that's the other aspect of it. Okay, now I got the idea, got the thought, got the product. Now let me protect it. Intellectual property, man. Let me protect it. So let me study what needs to be done to protect my idea, my product, my thought. We tend to sleep on that part of the process because it's not the most exciting thing to do. It's not exciting to study patents. It's not exciting to study trademarking a product or a service or a logo, symbol, whatever the case. You know, it's not exciting. But that's where you thrive, man, when you start studying the things that are not exciting, when you start studying the things that people call or refer to as boring. That's what's going to take you to that next level. Terenzo for sure. Hey, Garrison, peace. What's happening? MC, man, get to it. You know what I'm saying? Like lay down the plan, create the business plan, get to it, put it into motion. That's where you start with the business plan. You know, put it down on paper. You know, they tell you that you are more likely to accomplish something when you write it down and put it on paper. So put it on paper, man. When you get it in the mind, when you possess the thought, you possess the idea. Now you got to put it in. You got to put it on paper. Put it on paper. You are more than likely to translate that or transfer that into a physical reality when you write it down. You know, so when you got that idea, when you got that thought, put it on paper, get an index card, get a notebook or whatever, man, and write it down. Write it down several times a day until what they say it becomes that burning obsession. Then you will be unstoppable. Lindale, man, we done created and invented so much, man. Like our history is rich when it comes to things we have invented. You know, it's things right now that are credited to other cultures and other people that we actually came up with that history will not demonstrate or show and prove, I should say. You know, it's a lot of things going on right now that our people actually invented, that when you look at the history books, we don't get the credit for inventing these things. You know, pretty much a lot of what you see, we actually came across the technology first. You know, we actually invented it first. We actually possessed the idea. We actually put these things into practice first. Then other groups stole it, patented it, and all of that, and took us out of the history of it. So don't get it twisted. Hey, J Dub, peace, what's happening? Hey, King Girl, what's happening? Hey, for sure. Yeah, yesterday was a good one. You know, so we just I'm striving to get my people back on the throne, you know, and again, to get my people back on the throne, hey, we gotta, in the wilderness of North America, we gotta generate the funds. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the game. But that's really nothing to do when you think about it. You know, the best form of currency is right there in your own mind. And that's what society tries to persuade us to not use, our mind, you know? So when you using that mind, hey, all of the money that you need, it will follow suit. It will follow suit. it will follow suit. Ray, what's happening? Hey, J Dub, man, peace, peace. Appreciate that. Same to you and your family. All needs to be for sure. But the thing of it is, don't need many. We don't really need many like-minded individuals. Small, select few. You might can do the thing with two people. You know what I'm saying? You might can do it with 3 or 4. We don't need a large amount. We don't need a large amount. If it got to start just with you, then that's a start. You know, whatever it is you striving to manifest and put into motion, if it needs to just start with you for the time being, then you got to do what you need to do. That's it. Straight up, Sharif, and what's happening? You know, it's plenty of us that's actually spread out, you know, and we got to give that credit to social media. It's plenty of us that's out here spread out, man. We just got to link together more often in the virtual standpoint. Then we got to get together in the physical. But it's plenty of us when you tap in virtually, man, that's ready to build, that I refer to as, or we refer to as ALites, you know, like-minded individuals. You know, it's plenty of us out here. We just spread out. Spread out. That's it. We just got to start linking up and putting things into motion. And, you know, we got to do that in secrecy because you know how that go. You know, when they get wind of us doing these type of things on a consistent basis, y'all already know how that go. You know, so we got to move in secrecy, you know, move in secret when it comes to building. Too many Black people coming together consistently for a positive purpose, for a positive cause, to them is negative. And they got to destroy that. They got to bring destruction to it. Bree, what's happening? What's happening, my good sister? Peace. You know, so we got to move in secrecy when it comes to things like that. But, man, it's enough. You know, it's enough of us out here, man, to where we should, again, as I keep saying, should be in a much better position. But we are not, you know. So that's why I have to continuously get on these platforms and let y'all know the same thing. Sound like a broken record. You know, because our position and our condition in this particular country that we built, you know what I'm saying, should be much different. Should be much different. But we're not going to get too far complaining. We're not going to get too far lacking imagination, lacking creativity, lacking desire, lacking ambition. We're not going to get too far with that type of energy. We're not going to get too far with that type of energy at all. You know, never let society persuade you to not use your creative mind, and your imagination. That's the way to success, man. You got to have imagination and you got to be creative. You know, you got to block out time during your day to use the creative mind, to use your imagination, to visualize. You know, you have to block out time in your day. We got to be intentional about things like that. That's one of the reasons why you may not be manifesting the things that you want to manifest. That may be the reason why your life is not to your liking at this particular moment, you know, because you're not visualizing, you're not using your imagination. Part of using your imagination, man, part of visualizing and using your imagination involves you having to remove yourself from reality for a little second. You know, when you visualize and when you use your imagination, you are visualizing things that have yet to happen. You know what I'm saying? So you got to remove yourself from your current reality in order to do that. You know, if I'm visualizing, I'm going to visualize myself possessing something that I don't currently possess. You know, so I have to remove myself from reality and project myself in the future. You know, so again, that's part of your imagination. That's part of visualization. But if you're not able to do that, if you just stuck on reality, you're going to continue to attract circumstances that reflect how you feel about your current reality. And a lot of us, we are anxious. A lot of us are negative. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't feel positive about our current reality. And that's what we continue to attract in our lives, because we don't know how to remove ourselves from reality for a second and visualize something that we don't possess currently. You know, if you don't have $100,000 in the bank right now, somebody tell you to visualize it, because I've heard this all the time when I start giving people this type of advice. They was like, man, how can I visualize that when I don't have it right now? I'm dealing with the here and now. Sounds good, man. But again, you're going to wonder why your life consists of lack on a consistent basis. Got to remove yourself from that current reality, man. You got to know what you are capable of, man. You got to be able to say, okay, my current circumstances do not define me. this is where I'm heading, and you got to be able to see that. You got to be able to see it as if you already possess it. You got to be able to see it before it occurs. That's imagination. That's imagination. Like, come on now. Hey, Beast by Bless on now. What's happening? Sharif, man, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And we deal with that. You know, nothing is more powerful than that mind. You know, and that mind creates thoughts. I'm telling you, your thoughts, what they say, thoughts become things. Everything that you possess right now in your crib, everything you possess started off as a thought, started off as a vision. Everything. Everything, fam. You name it, it started off as a thought. It started off as an idea. Even you, bro, even you. You know what I'm saying? Even you started off as a thought, started off as an idea. And then you were born. You were manifesting, and you came into physical reality. You know what I'm saying? Even if that thought and or idea revolved around the two people that came together to make you, even if it was just them coming together for a one-night stand, there still was a thought, it still was an idea, and it became a physical reality, aka your birth. So everything started off as a thought, as an idea. You know what I'm saying? Everything originated in the mind. So why are we not using that mind, fam? And I know we are not using that mind the way that we should, because again, it reflects when I look at our reality as a people. We're not using our minds the way that we should be. It's a very powerful, your mind is a very powerful thing, and a lot of us are wasting it. You have everything, like everything that you need, that you are seeking externally, you literally possess it internally, you know? But again, they don't want you to know that. You know, they want you to think that you have to pray. They want you to think that you have to wish, and they want you to think that you have to seek all these external and outside sources. They have eliminated that. They have destroyed that. They have eliminated us from realizing that all the power, everything that we need, everything that we possess is right within ourselves. Like straight up. And then to the point where we look at other people who have accomplished things and we think they like superheroes. Man, that person that accomplished all of these things in life that you striving to accomplish, they are no different than you. They no different than you. They not smarter than you. They not better than you. You know what I'm saying? They just using their mind. That's it. They using their mind. They ain't no different than you. A person that's of a high status is no different than you. There is no difference between you and none of these celebrities. Like straight up. And I shouldn't even use celebrities as an example, because a lot of them did some foul things to get to where they at. You know, I should use more righteous folks, you know, but there are plenty of righteous folks that have accumulated a ton of wealth. And they didn't do anything special. I'm promising you. When you start studying successful people and the things that they did, it's really simple. Nobody did anything complicated, man, to build their fortunes. Nobody. And I'm talking about the righteous examples. I'm not talking about the folks that sold themselves out, sold their people out. I ain't talking about them folks. I'm talking about the righteous folks, and there's plenty of them. The righteous folks, man, that have accumulated a ton of wealth, when you study them, it's nothing crazy. It's not deep. It's not complex what they did. Real simple stuff that they did. They got one thing. They focused on it. You know what I'm saying? They mastered the craft, and there you go. Real simple stuff, man. Real simple. It's not complicated. I promise you. You can study all of these successful people, and I promise you it's going to boil down to exactly what I just said. They focused on something. They mastered the craft. They put in the work. Real simple. Real simple, man. We make everything complicated. We think everything is deeper than it really needs to be when it comes to success. You know, we can't fathom somebody accomplishing something that we haven't accomplished. All you got to do is study their mindset. Plenty of books have been written about these successful people and the mindset that they have possessed. So again, we tend to work harder and not smarter. The blueprint has been written millions of times, man. There's too many books out here that have laid down the blueprint in regards to the mindset that one must possess in order to accumulate wealth, in order to reach a certain level of success, man. The mindset has been written too many times, man. So this ain't nothing you really have to figure out. It's already, they've given you the blueprint, giving you the blueprint 1,000 times. Most of y'all know exactly what to do. You're just not doing it. Nisa, you say we suffer from self-inflicted wounds. Most definitely. Most of the wounds that we possess are self-inflicted at this point. You know, especially the older we get. You know, especially the older we get, man. A lot of the wounds are self-inflicted. And that's called accountability. You know, but people lack that. So when it comes to the wounds, the self-inflicted wounds, we throw those off on other people. And that's why people can't get ahead. It's a wound you inflicted upon yourself via your perception. But since you lack accountability, you don't want to own up to that. So now you blame any and everybody else. And you wonder why you can't move past those wounds, because those wounds to you are everybody else's fault. Like you don't have the power to perceive it differently and then move on and move forward. You know what I mean? You survive what happened. Change your perception up so you can move forward, so you can grow, so you can evolve and elevate. But people don't want to do that. Man, this happened back in the day. This is such and such fault. It's my mama reason. It's my mama fault that I'm like this. My mama the reason why I'm like that. Man, what is that doing for you? Even if she is legit the reason, fam, what is it doing for you when you're 35 to continue to blame her? You know, at some point, you got to reach a conclusion like, all right, man, this happened to me when I was a child, but hey, I survived it. I'm here now 35, 40 years later. What am I doing to move forward so I can get ahead, fam? So again, even if somebody legitimately is the reason why you possess certain traits, it's like, man, continuing to blame them 35, 40 years later ain't going to help you out. That energy ain't going to do anything in regards to your elevation. You will remain stuck if you continue to do that, you know? So again, I changed the perception up. Yeah, that happened to me back then. Yeah, such and such played a role, but it's like it happened and I survived and I'm here now. What can I do to move forward? So some of y'all, man, can't elevate and evolve because y'all keep holding on to things that happened to you back in the day. Holding on to it. You know, I've done that. Man, that stuff don't help you out, man. You know, if anything, it causes the body to become toxic. It causes the mind to become toxic, and that leads to disease, man. That's called unresolved conflict, man. You gotta reach a resolution with these things that happened to you back in the day, man. And you gotta do that for you. You're not doing it for the other people that were involved, that did you dirty. You know what I'm saying? You doing it for you so you can move forward. Hey, Corey D, peace, what's happening? You doing this so you can move forward, man. When you holding on to things from the past that happened to you, man, that's one of the biggest detriments and hindrances in regards to people moving forward in life. Holding on to things that happened to you in the past, man. And am I saying it's an easy process to reach a resolution? No. But again, not too many things in life come easy. But in my opinion, man, things are as easy or as difficult as we like to make it. And we tend to make things difficult. You know, reaching a resolution can be easy if you choose to make it easy. But it will be difficult if you choose to make it difficult, man. It's really your choice at the end of the day. Little LA for sure, you know, and we need to become solution-oriented types of people. Got to deal with solutions, man. And that's one of the things, that's how I operate. You know, that's why a lot of people don't like coming to me with certain things, because I'm going to eventually, we going to get to the bottom of it, going to reach a conclusion, and we going to come with some solutions. Because at the end of the day, I don't understand, why are you coming to me with this problem? The same problem. Like, what are you doing to solve it? If you're not doing anything to solve it, then I'm going to assume that you enjoy having this problem or enjoy having this set of problems. Like, straight up, man, I know y'all that had that type of person come to you, man, same problem, and they not doing anything to solve it. And it's like, when you bring up solutions, then they got something to say in regard to every solution that you bring up in regard to that same exact problem. It's like, man, you don't want to solve that problem. You enjoy being pitiful. You enjoy being in that state of mind, but you're not about to bring me down with you. You either going to accept my solutions or you going to stop talking to me about this problem, especially if it's a reoccurring problem and you are the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you either gonna listen to the solution and implement it, or we gonna stop discussing this problem. I'm done allowing people to continuously bring me the same problem. No, we gonna get to the bottom of it. And if you don't want to get to the bottom of it, take that problem to somebody else. I'm not here to entertain that. I ain't here to entertain that, man. I'm here to solve the problem. I would think that's one of the reasons why you keep presenting, or you presented the problem to me. You know, knowing that about me, I would say, okay, that's the reason why you coming to me, so I can solve your problem. You know, so when you come to me and you don't allow me to do my, you know what I'm saying, do what I do, nah, you could take that to somebody else. You could take that to somebody else. I'm good. I value my peace. I value my sanity, you know, and I'm striving to elevate. So if you're not on board with that, again, there's plenty of miserable people that you can communicate with. You know what they say, misery loves company. So you can go find some other people that like being in that pitiful state, and y'all can link up, and y'all can be sad, depressed, and negative together. I'm not on that type of time. I'm striving to conquer that type of energy, not allow that energy to conquer me. And again, this is not to downplay anybody that's depressed and going through stuff like that. But again, at some point, man, you got to reclaim your power, bro. At some point, you got to do that. At some point, you either going to give the depression all of this power, or at some point, you going to take your power back and you going to conquer that energy and not allow that energy to conquer you. You know, at some point, you got to do that. And at some point, somebody has to tell you that. You know, so I'm not about to allow a person to keep coming to me with that type of energy. At some point, I'm gonna have to tell you, look, man, what you striving to do? You know, are you striving to continue to be depressed, or are you striving to conquer it? If you striving to conquer it, let's go. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, you got to make that decision and say, man, you know what? I'm tired of being depressed. I'm tired of being sad. I'm tired of being this and that. You got to make that decision, and you got to do something about it. You got to do something about it. Man, I'm tired of being overweight. All right, I'm about to lose the weight. Do it. I'm tired of being depressed. All right, wake up, change your thought process. It ain't gonna, listen, it ain't gonna be automatic overnight, but man, you got to put in some type of work. You got to put in some type of work. Nothing happens at the snap of a finger, man. Nothing, you know, but you got to put in some work, man. A lot of people try to skip that or bypass that aspect of it. You know, if you're dealing with depression, man, you're not just going to wake up one day and your thought process automatically shifts and changes to a more positive nature. For some people, that may be a reality, but that's a select few. You got to put in some work. You're going to continue to have depressing days. You're going to continue to have those. Even when you wake up and decide, you know what, I'm tired of being depressed. You still going to have days where you are depressed. But as long as you put in the work on a consistent basis, man, to be better, eventually you're going to win out, man. Eventually that energy is going to win out, especially when it becomes the most dominant thought. You know, they tell you when it comes to manifesting your reality, you know, we manifest a reality that revolves around our most dominating thought. So again, if you just keep persevering, you're going to eventually win, fam. You're going to eventually win, but I feel like some people don't even be wanting to win. Straight up. J-Dub, man, they got everything to say. You know, anytime you get a solution, they got something to say. So when I come across people like that, I'm like, you okay, cool. You don't want to be happy, you don't want to be at peace, you don't want to be healthy. You know, I've been around those folks. The sickest of folks, you know what I'm saying? Physical ailments. And I'm giving them legit steps to take to be physically healthy, and they got an excuse. Okay, so you cool with being sick then. I done told you everything to do, and you got an excuse for everything that I done said, or you got a rebuttal for everything that I said. Therefore, that leads me to conclude that you enjoy being sick. You making a decision to be sick. Straight up. And a lot of people don't like when I say stuff like that for whatever reason, but that's the truth. That is the exact truth. Niecy, ain't no reason at all, fam. Ain't no reason at all not to keep on pushing. No reason at all. No reason at all, for sure. And that's real. Bree, man, hey, I'm trying to tell you. And that's a critical skill that a lot of people don't have. Problem solving skills, man. That's a skill. That's a skill. Problem solving is a skill. You know, that's why when we was in school back in the day, some people still in school right now, you know, that's why problem solving. That's why they had us do things that we looked at back then. And now we say, oh, man, they had us doing all this stuff that's pointless. No. When you was doing those trigonometry equations or geometry equations, none of that was pointless. That's problem solving. That made your mind work. So that's not pointless. You know, not pointless at all. When you were sitting there struggling with the geometry and the trigonometry, you were solving a problem. So there's always a benefit to solving a problem. Even if you can't see the benefit at that time, even if you're not using those exact equations, still a benefit to it because you learning how to solve a problem, a complex problem at that. Trust me, your mind will thank you. You know what I'm saying? That brain, it's a muscle. That's one of the ways dementia and Alzheimer's manifest itself because people don't exercise the brain. They don't problem solve. That's making your brain weaker, man. That's making you more susceptible to dementia and Alzheimer's when you do not solve problems. So you want to become a problem solver. You want to adopt that skill. Your brain will appreciate that down the road or down the line. Like for real. Hey, Michael Peace, what's happening? Tony, most definitely. And we like to feed the garbage the most, you know what I'm saying? The most dominating thought in most of our people's minds is some of a negative nature. All you got to do is look on social media and you can see that. You know, when you look on social media, you see a lot of negativity, a lot of toxicity, a lot of gossip. Those are dominating thoughts. You know, and some of that was by design. But those of us that know that it was by design, man, we know better. So we got to do better. We know better. We're not doing better. That's my fault. You know, I can't blame anybody for that. Once I know better, once I have the knowledge, you know, if I commit an error and I lack knowledge, okay, boom, I lack the knowledge. Now, when I get the knowledge, if I commit any errors outside, if I commit the same error after I got the knowledge, man, that's all on me. If I didn't know something, I just didn't know it, you know, so I committed that error because of a lack of knowledge, lack of education. But once I get the knowledge, the mistakes and errors committed after that, it's on me. I got the knowledge, man. I know what to do. And I still chose to do the wrong thing. I knew to go left. I still chose to go right. That's my fault. I can't blame anybody. I can't say, well, everybody else had went right and it looked like, nah, that's nope. I knew to go left. I knew to go left. That's my fault. Accountability, man. You're not gonna evolve and grow without accountability, like at all. Bree, it's not fair at all because again, other people have their own problems to solve. You know what I'm saying? Like people have their own problems to solve. They have their own emotions and feelings to sort through. It's not fair at all. You know, that's why I try not to pin that type of stuff on other people because I know everybody got their stuff that they dealing with. It's nobody else's job to solve my problems. Nobody else. That's nobody else's job. First of all, again, I'm going to be the only person that's going to be with myself from birth to death. So again, why would I give that responsibility to somebody else? So then when that person is removed from my life, because this stuff is inevitable, people come and go, fam. When that person is removed, now I have handicapped myself. I can't solve a problem. People do that with kids, fam. Like they handicap the kid. So then now the kid becomes an adult. They can't solve a problem. Man, that's not like we underestimate that. We underestimate that. Like I remember, man, when my pops first, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was little, you know, when you little, you pops, you know, people was building all the stuff for you. Then when I got of age, you know, I never forget it. It was like a bookshelf. It was not a bookshelf. It was some type of shelf or whatever that we had got for the crib. And dude gave me the tools and was like, man, put that together. And I was mad. I was like, man, I do not want to put this thing together, man. So he gave me the instructions, gave me the tools, told me to put it together, man. Got to learn how to put this thing together. Some point. I'm not going to be here for your entire life to put things together for you. So he's like, here go the tools, here go the instructions. However long it's going to take you to put it together, it's going to take you that long to put it together. That's how you got to do it. Like straight up. Hey, Blaze, peace, what's happening? Hey, Bree, man, I'm trying to tell you. So I'm trying to get to that point, man. If I literally did not have to have certain platforms for this gym, I would not have them. I would literally just be on here. And like you say, man, with the books, man, that's all I really need, you know, especially to reach where I'm striving to reach, man. Reading again. Hey, that's another common denominator with successful people that I'm pretty much glad is a common denominator, because I know I'm on the right path. When I study all successful people, one of the things that they all say they do, and this is every last one of them, they read. I have not studied one successful person that told me they did not read, other than Kanye. And I don't, y'all know I do not like Kanye, you know, and I think dude is lying, but whatever, you know, dude be saying things for shock value, but that's like the only person. I think J. Cole may have said something along the lines, not necessarily don't read, but they not avid readers. I'm like the only two people that I've heard kind of speak on reading in a light that they don't read excessively or they not avid readers. But every other successful person talks about them being an avid reader, an avid learner. So let me rephrase it. Learner. Just learning. Whether it's books, whether you watching, you know what I'm saying, tennis seminars, all of that. Everybody gonna tell you, man, that learning is a very integral part of the process to reach a certain level. But most of them say they avid readers, they read. So that's crucial. So that's why I was like, yep, I'm on the right path with that. You know, and that's step one. You know, that's that knowledge, that's the foundation. You know, so we can't just stop there though. We got to always put things into motion. You know, so when you come across something that resonates with you, it's like, boom, go do it. I remember with Nipsey was talking about how he read the book Contagious. Got that same book. That's part of my degree field, marketing. So I had read that book. So he talked about how he read like the first 10 pages of that book. And I don't want to spoil it, but if you've read that book, you know what's in the first 10 pages. And that's when he came up with his idea to do his to sell his mixtape for like $100. He got that. He read about 10 pages of a book and say, boom, I just got an idea. And he put that idea into motion instantly. That's how you got to do it, man. That's how that stuff works. When you read something and that light bulb goes off, go put it into motion. What's the worst case scenario? Oh, it don't work, and now I got to put something else into motion. That's it. We be thinking too hard about this stuff, man. Worst case scenario. That's what they tell you in business. They always tell you think of the worst case scenario. And a lot of times the worst case scenario is not as bad as we imagine it to be. You know, so worst case scenario, I put an idea into motion, it don't work, and now it's back to the drawing board. That's it. That's literally the worst case scenario is that this idea doesn't work. But a lot of people afraid of failure, you know? So that's big enough for most people. But you can't be afraid of failure, man. Can't be afraid. I embrace it. I like when something don't succeed because it forces me to think more creatively. I wouldn't like for my first idea to work. No. 100 ideas fail me. I'm going to have to keep thinking. I'm going to have to keep thinking. I like thinking. You know what I'm saying? So when something don't work, then it's like, all right, man, I got to get back to the drawing board. Man, what else can I do? How can I improve upon that? Hey, them creative juices get the firing, man. That's how it's supposed to work. Man, Blaze, for sure, man. The mind's the most powerful thing. And we, like I say, we waste it, man. We waste it. We use a very small percentage of the mind. You know what I'm saying? A very small percentage, man. The mind is capable of a whole lot. And we use a very small percentage of it. And we wonder why our life reflects that. You know, it reflects that because we are using the bare minimum of the mind. So we get the bare minimum out of life. Tony, for sure, man. I'm always y'all, that goes without saying, but I'm always striving to drop some knowledge, some inspiration, some recommendations or whatever, man. I'm always striving to do that on social media. And I've been doing that ever since I've been on social media. Like the first year or two that I was on social media when I was a young bull in high school, that wasn't very informative. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't informative at all. But hey, I grew. I evolved rather quickly with that. And yeah, that's the thing. And man, it goes to show again when you post the positivity and the knowledge, you know, that stuff don't get shared as it should. A lot of that too is by design, you know, because the algorithms and whatnot, the algorithm, it rewards some garbage, you know, but the people also got to stop entertaining the garbage, you know. So hey, we got to take back our control and our power by stop feeding into the nonsense. We entertain the garbage, we discuss the garbage, we share the garbage, we comment on the garbage, and we fall right into their laps, man, right into their hands when we do that every time. If something is garbage, if something is toxic, don't entertain it. You gotta starve. We gotta starve that. You know, that's like if you striving to reverse cancer, reverse diabetes, man. You gotta starve those cancerous cells, man. You gotta fast, man. You gotta detox. You gotta starve it. Don't feed it. You know what I'm saying? Don't give it food. Then it's gonna continue to grow. You know, you got a cancerous cell and you continuing to eat toxic foods, the cancerous cell is gonna grow, and it's gonna make it spread. You know, but you got to feed it. I mean, you got to starve it. You got to starve it, fam. That's how you kill it. That's how you reverse it. Like for sure. Man, Ray, man, I'm trying to tell you, reading builds knowledge. It prevents you from acquiring dementia and Alzheimer's because it strengthens the brain. And reading is also, it's therapeutic, fam. It's therapeutic. Man, I'm in a state of bliss, man, when I'm reading, when I'm learning something that I didn't know, or when I just get that idea, or, you know, just a reinforcement, man. When I'm reading something that I knew back in the day, but I had forgotten, I needed the reinforcement, man. Reading is therapy, fam. Like reading is therapy. Therapeutic, man. Like it's too many benefits to reading. And I tell people all the time, man, you don't even necessarily have to read, you know, the intricate text. You can just read stuff that you're interested in. I guarantee you can get an idea from anything. And all you need is one idea to click. One idea, man. You can get an idea from anything, man. All you gotta do is just think. Use the mind. When you read, man, you gotta use your mind. Use your imagination. You can get an idea from any and everything. Again, so it really don't matter at times what you're reading, because you can get an idea from anything. I remember Mark Cuban said that. You know, when I was studying Mark Cuban for a little second, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. That's what he said. He was like, man, it really don't matter what books you read. You could get an idea from any book. And I took that and ran with it. So it don't matter. You know, you don't have to read a certain book, man. You can literally read anything, whatever your interest is, whatever your interest is in. You can read books revolving around that, and that can lead to an idea, man. It's ideas everywhere. It's inspiration everywhere. You can grab inspiration from any and everything. You know, you don't necessarily have to be sitting around reading business books all day to come up with some ideas. You know, once you got the idea and you want to study the legal side of it, the legal aspects of it, then yes, you got to incorporate that. But to come up with the idea in the first place, man, you can read anything. And in order to establish the habit, I do recommend starting with stuff you like, you know, because if you start trying to read stuff that you're not interested in, it's not going to stick. It's going to be like school. You know, school caused a lot of us to deviate from books, from reading, because they gave us those dry textbooks, and that discouraged a lot of us, man. We was like, man, reading is boring, you know, because we only knew reading from that standpoint, reading these dry textbooks. You know, the moment you go grab something that you actually interested in, man, you can sit down, lose yourself in the book. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Man, I go pick up an autobiography or a biography of like an athlete that I used to rock with back in the day, man. I might read that in one day. And I come up with all type of ideas from reading those type of books. Man, I'm always reading autobiographies, memoirs, things like that from like rappers and musicians, athletes, just famous people back in history that I used to rock with. You know, historical figures, I should say. I'm always reading those. Memoirs, autobiographies, and biographies, man. I'm trying to tell you, I get a lot of ideas from them joints. A lot of ideas. The dude that wrote, Robert Greene, that wrote 48 Laws of Power, Laws of Human Nature, The Art of Seduction, all these books. The bulk of his books revolve around him using stories from people in history. So that lets you know that's what he studies. He studies people. You know, so that's what I do. I be studying people. So I got a lot of books, like I got a lot of memoirs, man, a lot of autobiographies and biographies, because I'm studying people. You know, you learn a lot from studying people. Then I observe people, you know, so studying people goes a long way because you start to understand human nature. And when you understand human nature, man, it's hard for you to not succeed. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be reading a lot about people. You know, I study people, man. I don't even know if the book right. I got Mike Tyson joint around here somewhere, man. Mike Tyson's memoir, was it Undisputed? Man, joint powerful. Man, Jay Prince got a good joint. Man, I could DMX joint. I can name all these folks, man. Y'all know Malcolm X, obviously. That goes without saying. You know, but just athletes, man. Karan Butler, man. I done read all type of books, man, from athletes back in the day. Melo, one of my favorite basketball players, my favorite basketball player outside of Allen Iverson. I read his joint. Learned a lot from that. You know what I'm saying? So again, I go tap in with some folks that I rock with, and I go read about. You hard pressed to find like an athlete or something that I haven't studied, man. Bo Jackson. I done read all these books, man. I got Bo Jackson book behind me, man. Y'all, Bo Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm studying all these folks. So I'm studying everybody, man. Not only am I studying folks that succeeded, but I want to study folks who didn't succeed. So now I'm learning what not to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm studying all angles of it. You know, so I'm reading about the folks who have succeeded, but that's just one side of it. I got to study the folks that didn't succeed. I got to study the folks that striving to do what I'm doing and they ain't make it. They ain't do it right. I'm studying them too. There's lessons to be learned in all of that. It's lessons to be learned in all of that for sure. But I love reading about people, man. A memoir, like those are like my favorite books. You know, people don't even know that, but those are my favorite books for sure. For sure, man. I'll read a book about a person within quick, fast. Give me that. Y'all know Iceberg Slim. That's the hood legend right there. Iceberg Slim. Y'all know that book. Pimp. Y'all know that, man. A lot of Jews in that book. That's a black staple. You know what I'm saying? Best believe somebody such as myself can learn a lot from that book. Best believe. That's a black staple right there. I recommend everybody read that book. If you have not read that book, Pimp, Iceberg Slim. That's one of the joints right there. That's one of the ones. My brother Terenzo, peace. Appreciate that donation. Oh yeah, hey, studying words. What etymology, you know what I'm saying? Like the study of words, study of the origin of words, all of that, man. All of that is beneficial. So then that helps you gain a better understanding of not only what you reading, but like what other people are out here, man, you know, because they trying to cast spells on us via the spoken word, via the written word. You know, so when you understand the origin of a lot of the words that they have created, boom, it lets you know exactly what's going on out here. Clocks in, you say when hey, when the Ebell autobiography coming out, man, hey, I don't even know, man. Hey, it's a lot to my story that hasn't happened yet, hasn't occurred yet. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot more to do. So when that happens, you might see a memoir or something. On the Spot Live, you say, is it really a good idea to promote pimp culture? No. And that's why I feel like that book should be read. Because that book actually, it gives the honest assessment of it. So you read that book, yep, nope. At least that's how I interpreted it. You know, when I read the book, I was like, yep, nope, that ain't a lifestyle. But that's it. I'm using that part of my mind. Because again, like it's a lot of books. I got books. One of my favorite books was Stanley Tukey Williams' memoir. And y'all know who Stanley Tukey Williams is. That is one of my favorite. That might be my favorite joint. That might be my joint. Blue Rage, Black Redemption. Stanley Tukey Williams. That is one of my favorite books on the planet. And obviously, we know what he was involved with and in. So me just on the surface saying Stanley Tukey Williams got one of my favorite books would look as if I'm promoting a certain culture. But that book is far deeper than that, especially when you tap in and read it. When you read a book like that, you're able to give the young bulls some games by the original OG that's basically let you know, nah, this is not the life you want to live. Like, you don't want to travel down this path because these are the consequences of it. So I feel like when you read Pimp like that, and when you had a lens that I had on it, like, it's like, okay, like, nah, this is not the type of lifestyle that I want to embrace. But then it also led you to understand how he became the person that he became. So that book is just deep, man, because again, the whole pimp culture and what he was talking about in the book, in the beginning of the book, you literally get the rundown on how he became that person, how his upbringing led to that. You know what I'm saying? So then it gives you things to look out for. It gives you things to study, to observe in your life, to prevent the next person from turning out that way. At least that's how I look at it, man. It's a learning tool. But it's some things that happened when dude was a young bull that kind of messed him up. And his moms had a lot to do with that. I mean, his moms had plenty to do with that. His moms had, and I ain't trying to spoil the book for the folks that did not read that book, but yeah, his moms had some things to do with it, especially according to him. So you start to, again, it's about understanding human nature. You start to understand why people turn out the way that they turn out. You start understanding why people move the way that they move. So when you read things like that, man, it's an understanding of human nature that comes with it. So when you see people in a lifestyle that it may not be the lifestyle that you would push and promote, but it's like I'm always striving to gain an understanding. That's why I watch a lot of serial killer documentaries. I'm striving to gain an understanding. What made or what possessed you to move in that direction? What possessed you to do this? So I study all of that. I study stuff that people look at me like, man, you crazy for watching that or reading that. No, I'm trying to get inside the mind of this person. What will possess a person to move like that? And I feel like that has actually saved me. I have been able to identify certain things because I be studying the mindset or the psyche or the psychology behind a lot of these different types of people. A lot of things that people will run from, man. A lot of people don't want to watch things pertaining to killers, serial killers, and things like that. They think everybody gonna look at them as crazy, or they think it's gonna make them crazy. Nah, like I'm stating, I need to see what type of red flags I need to look out for with other people, with myself. You say you just never know. You might be studying a serial killer, and they may have a pattern of thinking that you might have been entertaining. You like, hold on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had been moving like this. For real, man, you would be surprised, man. You would be surprised that when you start studying the minds of these people and how you might be able to relate to some of the things that they've been on. So you might be able to catch yourself from doing something weird because you studying the nature of all these different types of people. Blaze, I was just gonna say that was my second one, man. Monster Cody joint. I was just about to say that. I was gonna bring that book up too. I was gonna bring that book up, man. Those are two of my favorite joints. Two of my favorite joints, man. Them some powerful reads. Monster Cody, aka saying Yika Shakur. RIP to all of them, But yeah, that autobiography of an LA gang member, man, it's just, hey, for real. That joint powerful. Man, I got all the mob books. I got all the gang books and anything. I got a book. Man, listen, I want to go find it, man. But again, y'all know y'all got so many books behind me that I don't think if I go look for this book, it might take me 30 minutes to go find it. But I got the book People and Folks. Y'all know who folks are. Y'all know who people are. Y'all know those gangs. Y'all know about them, but I got that joint. Man, I got all those books. I study all of that. Like I study everything. You know, and part of it is so I can give people that type of game, man. But I'm studying all of that. It's lessons to be learned in all of that. You know, so I'm studying all of that. You name it, I'm studying it for sure. Because like I say, a lot of that is human nature. Even from a game perspective, you gotta, you know, one thing you sometimes you have to give credit. Like, man, a game leader, man, you can learn a lot as far as leadership. You know, now some of it is corrupt, but you can learn a lot, man. So your game leader, man, you are in charge of people. You know, you getting them to do wicked things, but you still are in charge of people. It's a book written by a former mob member. It's called Mob Rules. And this is a former mob guy, former made man that became legit, you know, and started writing books and started having businesses and things like that. So he wrote a book that correlated what he learned in the mob culture and how it translated over to the business culture. So he was writing down like business principles that he attained from living the mob life and how those mob principles actually helped him out in the business world. Because at the end of the day, when you talk in business, you dealing with people that's part of a mob. You know what I'm saying? What Nas said, business is warfare. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. That's why 48 Laws of Power is one of the most popular books in the business world, because it's war out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's war. When you step into business, it's war. You dealing with gang members. You know, so you got to study these things. You know, so I'm studying all of that. When you dealing with business and you striving to succeed, you dealing with gang members, you dealing with mob bosses, you dealing with pimps, you dealing with all of that. You dealing with serial killers, you dealing with psychopaths, sociopaths, you dealing with all of that. Those are the people that you're dealing with when you're dealing with business. You're dealing with narcissists, you're dealing with all these type of individuals. So you gotta learn how they move. Gotta learn how they move, gotta learn how they operate. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn how they move. And if you don't learn how they move, then they gonna end up pimping you. You know what I'm saying? So the best way to avoid getting pimped is to study the pimps. You know, so I'm gonna study the pimps and see how they move. So that way, when they try to pull one of those moves on me, they can't. What they say, can't play the player. You know what I'm saying? So I'm studying how you move. So when you try to use that tactic on me, nah, no. I know about that. You can't get me. Zaru for sure. And that's what a lot of people like. It's funny how, like, with the mobs, like the white gangs back in the day, I'm not gonna say get glorified more because there is a negative light on them, but they don't get, I feel they don't get the same scrutiny that the black gangs get. And a lot of our gangs, so to speak, derive from us having to come together and fight off the white folks. That's what they don't be really realized. A lot of our gangs manifested from us striving to protect our neighborhoods from them. The same way some of their gangs actually manifested. It was a form of protection. Like, we gonna come together. We the Irish over here in this neighborhood. We gonna come together because all these other groups keep picking on us. So we gonna band together and form this gang, and we gonna protect one another. That's how a lot of these gangs were formed in the first place. So that's why a lot of times when negative light is shined upon a gang, like, I know people don't be knowing the origins of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the origins of a lot of these gangs were not negative. And honestly, a lot of the brothers that's caught up in that are not bad brothers. They not, fam. Like, when you chop it up with some of these are not bad dudes, man. Misguided, they lost. You know, they was lacking certain things in their lives, man. They just walked, they went down the wrong path that any of us could have chose to walk down. You know, when you get the right person in some of their ears, man, a lot of them listen. You just got to get the right person. DJ Elmo, what's happening? All the LA, you know, Project Pack days, you know. How the hell the robbers gonna rob the robber? You know, that's a song. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. You know, you gotta study that. You gotta study these things, man. So I be striving to get hip on all type of people. So when I come across them, I'm like, okay, I can identify that. And I don't have to be guessing about it. Like, I don't have to guess what this person is on. Like, I know it. I've seen this pattern before. I've studied this pattern. This sounds familiar, or this looks familiar. This person ain't about to get me. So I like to say I'm studying the whole entire game and all the players in it. And that's an actual fact. You know, that's an actual fact. So I recommend studying everything, but starting with what you're interested in. And you will get some ideas from that for sure. You know, and once you get the idea, do like Nipsey, close that book, put it into motion. Close the book, put it into motion, man. But man, do not sleep on the power of just studying, observing, reading, accumulating. Now, however you want to accumulate this information, this knowledge. Don't sleep on the power of that, man. But you also gotta keep your mind open. You know, when you coming across this information, that's the creative aspect of it, man. Meditate on some things, man. Sit with some, man. Once, and you know when something hits you, man. I talked about the gut yesterday. You know when something hits you. You know, you feel it like, dang, hold on, that idea just resonated with me. You know, once something like that happens, man, you got to sit with it, meditate on it, let it marinate, fam. Like it's a reason why you studied something and it stops you. Like, dang, I needed to see that. You know, y'all done all came across that, man. You was reading something, you came across a line, you came across a sentence, a paragraph, a word, and it just made you think. Like, that's a reason for that, man. So you got to do something with that. You know, you came across that sentence and, you know, it just stopped you. You had to close the book. Like, man, that was a powerful sentence. To where you had to highlight it, fam. You had to underline it, or, you know what I'm saying? You had to ponder about it, or whatever the case. Anytime you do that, man, it's something to that sentence, that word, that paragraph that caused you to stop in your tracks. Hey, Lil LA, I got that book behind me for sure. Blaze, man, trying to tell you, all of our organizations, man, like they was even doing that with the, you know, with the Bloods and the Crips. Tukey Williams mentioned that in his joint. How they, you know, we know how corrupt law enforcement can be, but he talked about it in that book, how they would take rival gang members, boom, drop them off rival territory, and then boom. So that's how you in restaurant, you will be watching the news and you will see some stories like such and such was killed and it was gang related. And you be wondering, you be like, man, why would that dude, or why was that dude in this neck of the woods, knowing he don't belong over here, knowing that this is enemy turf? A lot of times, man, the cops will take a dude and drop him off like that. And then that's how they get the drop on him. The cops gonna tell the other gang, like, look, I'm gonna tell you such and such, we gonna drop him off right here at 8 o'clock. And there it go. Dropped him off at 8 o'clock. Now all of a sudden, another body, another casualty. A lot of that stuff was the cops doing, you know, but they want to make it look like black on black crime. That's why sometimes I don't necessarily like that concept, because a lot of the black on black crime has some white hands attached to it that we didn't see. Some white involvement. A lot of the guns that was dropped off in these neighborhoods, man, these kids, man, walking around with AR, man, just army guns. Where y'all think they getting them from? Come on now. Where we think they getting them from? Like, where we think we getting them from? Like, come on, let's be realistic. You know, but again, when you start studying our game, brothers, some of them that told the truth, some of them that had that awakening moment, they gonna let you know what it is. They gonna let you know what it is. I got personal, you know, examples in my life where folks have been in a situation where the cops, you know, threatened to plant some drugs in the whip if mugs didn't comply to certain things. You know, You know, so we already know they out here wicked. You know, but it's even crazier when you actually reading these stories, man, and watching, listening to the stories being told. You know, they was literally out here taking rival gang members, dropping them off enemy turf, and then boom, you read about it in the news, and it looks like it was just black on black crime, like dude just got caught slipping. Nah, fam. Like, no, family. Even when they have informants and things like that, like, come on now. So we really know what it is. Lorenzo, exactly. Calls, clean them up, you know. And we thought, you know, I remember when we thought a body cam meant something. I don't know why we thought that, you know, with the Rodney King situation. I don't know why body cam's gonna save the game. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't matter if this stuff is documented on camera or not. They gonna find a way to relieve themselves of the consequences, man. They gonna find a way. No matter if we looking right at what's happening or not, it don't matter. It never did. Never did, fam. Never did. So when the body cams became a little bit more popular and people was like, yeah, this gonna change it up. No, it is not. And no, it has not. You know what I'm saying? Blaze, man, for sure. You know, and I, like I said, when I obviously, you know, I wasn't in LA, so I ain't know it at the time. Like, you speculated that you had heard about them doing that, but it's like when you start getting some like real life examples of it, people telling you that this was happening, you experiencing it, you like, oh, okay, wow. Like, they really doing this, man. Like, they really dropping these guns off in these neighborhoods. Like, they really dropping off dudes on the enemy side of town. Like, they really doing this. Like, this really actually happens. Like, this is no conspiracy. Like, this stuff really happens. So that's, you know, that's why you got to keep your head on a swivel and study and understand human nature. So when you come across it, you know exactly what you're dealing with. You know, you got to study the nature of these corrupt cops. So when you come across one, you know it. You're like, okay, the way this dude communicating with me, this one of them corrupt joints right here. All right, boom. Like, you know, you gotta know, understand. A lot of times we just be oblivious to human nature. I'm studying human nature is something to do, because people are different, you know. So you can't assume somebody. First of all, I don't know why you would assume somebody thinks the way that you do. That's just erroneous. That's ridiculous to think that. You know, people don't operate the way you operate. You know, what you would do or what you would do is not what the average person would do or what the next person would do. So you can't think that. A lot of times people do that. Like, no, when I look at a different person, I'm looking at a clean slate, you know, so I'm really observing what they are on, and I'm comparing it to all of the things that I've studied about people. So when I start lining up similarities, like, hold on, wait a minute, this person moving like this, they said that, they moving like that, they body language doing that. So I'm adding up all the similarities in regards to all the human nature I've studied, and I'm saying, okay, this is seeming like a narcissist. Boom. So now, all right, this is how I'm about to deal with this person. You know, this seems like a psychopath. Boom. This is how I'm about to deal with this person. You know, so that's how I line it up. Alonzo, peace, what's happening? But that's how I line it up, man. Just studying it, studying human nature and looking at people and not looking at them through the lens of like, this is how I operate, so this is how everybody should operate. No, nah, buddy. Nope. So I don't look at people through that lens. Like, man, that's what I would do. Y'all should do this. Like, nah, that sounds good. And not even, again, the way that I move all the time ain't 100% right and exact, you know? So, you know, I commit errors, you know? So I don't think everybody should move how I move, because I'm not going to move right all the time, you know? People going to move exactly how they move. Nothing more, nothing less. People going to move exactly how they are moved. Now, exactly how they move. Like, that's how they going to move. They're not going to move how you want them to move, how you think they should move. No, they're going to move how they move. And you got to accept people as that. What they say, accept people as facts. You got to accept people in that light. They're going to move exactly how they want to move. and they're gonna move exactly how they move. And how they move is gonna revolve around a lot of different circumstances and situations. So I never assume. Like I never assume that I know how somebody is gonna move until I accumulate information based on observations, based on studying said person and comparing them and contrasting them to what I have learned about people and about human nature. Then that's when I start to predict the way this person is going to move. Now, sometimes I could be wrong, you know, but hey, that's mathematics. Mathematics is the study of patterns, you know. So if I see you moving in a familiar light, then I'm going to make some predictions based on that. It's a study of patterns, fam. And a lot of us, we overlook that. That's mathematics, man. That's the original language of the universe. Mathematics, study of patterns, fam. Study them patterns. Study patterns. That will prevent you from entering a lot of bad situations. Like, man, I came across this pattern before, you know, so this more than likely is going to be the end result. Then you make a decision according to that. You know, a lot of people waste time in relationships and all of that, man, because they not hip to these patterns. They not hip to human nature. They can't identify these things. You able to identify these things and identify these patterns, it will prevent this. It will prevent a lot of that. Prevent you from wasting a lot of time, fam. DJ Elmo, man, Iceman Inheritance. Y'all already know I got that book behind me. Y'all already know, man. That's a good joint. You definitely gonna understand their nature a lot more when you read that joint. Most definitely. Yeah, Iceman Inheritance is one of them. For sure. But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I done went over my time again. I be trying to do an hour, but I get caught up in the build. But I gotta go make this second juice for the day, man. We still snowed in, but that don't stop me from juicing, getting my healthy foods in, man, getting them enzymes in, man, them phytonutrients. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop me from taking care of myself, you know? So I gotta go make this second juice, man. I appreciate donations, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in with the kid. I'm gonna let y'all get back to enjoying the rest of y'all Monday. If y'all snowed in like the kid, be safe out here, man. But I'm out. Y'all be easy. Peace.